The metroidvania genre has seen a substantial amount of growth in popularity in recent years, mainly due to the commercial success of indie titles like Hollow Knight, Blasphemous, and the Ori games, which have opened the door for a whole new generation of these progression-based, side-scrolling platformer RPGs that were popularized during the era of 8 and 16-bit gaming consoles. Many smaller indie developers have seen the success of these games and realized that developing a game of this type is a viable option for bringing their artistic visions to life. Because of this, there are a lot of really cool looking games currently in production. So I took a little time to dig through the 200 plus different unreleased titles listed on Steam to curate a list of the games that I am personally super excited for. In this video, I will be sharing my top 12 picks for unreleased Metroidvania games coming out in 2024 and beyond. First up on the list, and also one of the earlier games slated for release, Mandruga Games' The Mobius Machine promises a classic 2D adventure game with detailed 3D visuals and a vast, interconnected, and open alien world filled with brutal life forms and malfunctioning machines. Explore seamlessly with no loading screens and collect gear, blueprints, and weapons. Upgrade your gear to help you progress as you gun your way through an inhospitable planet as you discover what went wrong there and try to escape with your life before it's too late. The Mobius Machine is set for release on March 1st of 2024. Fight your way through a desolate, dystopian space city known as the Ark in Anima Flux, brought to you by an indie developer that shares the same name as the game. Play as genetically enhanced soldiers and attempt to topple a totalitarian regime with a friend or family member. Yep, you heard me right. This is a two-player co-op Metroidvania. To be completely honest, I would probably be excited for a Metroidvania called Anima Flux, about two steaming piles of poo, if one of those piles of poo was somebody I know, because a two-player option just isn't something that you tend to see very often in this genre. Luckily, Anima Flux seems to have a pretty good premise and offers a choice between two characters that both develop differently so that you and a friend both have your own unique arsenal of attacks to work together and strategize against hordes of mutants and challenging bosses with. Don't feel like playing with someone else? That's fine. A single player mode is also available for folks that can't or won't play with another person. Anima Flux is currently scheduled for release in the fourth quarter of 2024. Coming in 10th, we have indie developer Cool Caper's Last Vanguard. Explore an open, war-torn world with some gorgeous hand-drawn graphics and Souls-like mechanics. This one really doesn't have as much information available on Steam as many of the other games on the list, but it does promise an open world with different biomes, a large variety of guns and secret items, and more than 3 classic-style dungeons with over 15 bosses. While there really isn't any information online regarding the actual story of Last Vanguard, its unique graphics and artistic style were enough to catch my attention. Last Vanguard's release date is still listed as to be announced. The 9th game on our list is Nine Souls from developer Red Candle Games. Nine Souls promises to be a lore-rich, hand-drawn 2D action platformer with RPG elements, Souls-like mechanics, and deflection-focused combat. Play as Yi, a cute little cat dude on his quest to defeat the Nine Souls, the newly awakened rulers of an ancient alien city called New Unlu. Nine Souls features what the developers call a Chowpunk setting that blends cyberpunk elements with Eastern religion and mythology, along with a blend of anime-style landscapes, sprite-based hand-drawn animations, and manga-inspired cutscenes. Nine Souls takes a whole collection of interesting ideas and blends them together in what appears to be an action-packed, ultra-original take on the cyberpunk aesthetic. Nine Souls is scheduled for release in Q1 of 2024 and has a demo available right now to play on Steam. Oh, Path of the Teal Lotus from developer Squidshot Studios, coming in 8th place, is another game with a story and artistic style based around Eastern culture, taking a more traditional approach to its aesthetic and storytelling. In Bo, you play as a fox Tentaihana descended from the heavens on a quest to fulfill an ancient prophecy. Use your bow staff to bounce and glide through hand-drawn, dreamlike landscapes. Bo combines challenging platforming, aerial combat, and some absolutely stunning Japanese art-inspired graphics while introducing you to a vast and beautiful interconnected world populated by a cast of adorable yet bizarre NPCs. Bo is scheduled to release sometime in 2024, but does not have an exact release date listed yet. The number 7 game, Ultros, by developer El Cuervo, is probably the most colorful video game I have ever seen. Ultros takes you on a psychedelic mushroom binge of a journey through a place called the Sarcophagus, described by the developers as a cosmic uterus holding an ancient demonic being. In Ultros, you wake up stuck in the eternal loop of a black hole and are able to utilize a loop-based mechanic to start over at certain points in the story and unlock secrets and areas that were previously inaccessible. Traverse a lore-rich world full of colorful landscapes and meet a cast of strange and eccentric characters that will help you to better understand the role you are destined to play in the cosmic cycle you are trapped in. Ultros is scheduled for release on February 13th, 2024. Quantum Duck Studios' Ray Gun Gadabout takes up the number 6 spot on my list. Battle space pirates and embark on dangerous missions through space as an intergalactic bounty hunter. Travel through the galaxy in your spaceship and explore a variety of different planets. Discover a wide array of upgrades for both your character and your ship. Ray Gun Gadabout is an exciting blend of metroidvania and old-school arcade-style ship-shooter type games, and promises non-stop interplanetary action, an abundance of platforming challenges and puzzles, and some fast-paced, precision-based combat. Explore the stars and become the greatest bounty hunter in the galaxy. Ray Gun Gadabout's release date is currently listed as to be announced. In the number 5 spot, we have Animal Well from developer Shared Memory. A truly bizarre game that features an old-school pixel art artistic style that looks kinda like an Atari game adorned with neon lights. Animal Well's unique style of bright neon colors set against a dark backdrop creates some strange and beautiful landscapes that really pop out on your screen. Solve puzzles and light your way through a non-linear network of subterranean caverns where everything is out to get you and nothing is as it seems. The developers have promised a Metroidvania game dense with surprises and heavily focused on puzzle solving, where enemies, environment, and items interact in surprising and systemic ways, and the smallest details can sometimes be surprisingly important. Many secret puzzles and Easter eggs are said to be hidden within the game that players will be stumbling across for years after its release, making for a game that should be well worth the hype. Animal Well's release date is currently listed as to be announced. Coming in 4th, we have the game Constance from developer BTF. Join Constance, the purple-haired artist, on a journey through her hand-drawn inner world as she battles against personal demons and monsters created by her own declining mental health. Fight using a paintbrush and use paint-based mechanics to assume a constant state of flow. Become paint and dive into the ground, splash off walls, and slice through enemies using various brush techniques. Constance is a metroidvania with a heavy emphasis on platforming and puzzle solving that isn't afraid to take some hard risks in storytelling, dealing with serious topics including mental health, depression, personal struggle, creativity, and inner purpose. Constance's interconnected inner world is non-linear and loaded with countless secrets and interesting and colorful characters and enemies that represent different aspects of her psyche and personal story, and features a semi-Souls-like mechanic that upon death allows you to choose between returning to a checkpoint or restarting in the same spot but for a price. Constance is a very ambitious project that attempts to create a safe space to talk about some very serious issues, and if executed properly has the potential to be an absolute masterpiece. The release date for Constance is currently listed as to be announced, and it does have a demo available for download on Steam. For our third to last game, we have Biogun from developer Dapper Dog Digital. Biogun takes the old-school sci-fi concept of shrinking yourself down to be injected into someone's bloodstream and puts an exciting new spin on it. You play as a microscopic dog on a quest to save all of dogkind from certain extinction at the hands of the deadly Super virus. Navigate your way through a complex web of internal organs filled with a cast of colorful and zany characters. Use a wide array of weapons and abilities to battle cells, viruses, bacteria, and parasites. Augment your DNA and modify your playstyle to help take down formidable bosses inspired by real-life diseases. Blast your way through the insides of man's best friend and become the vaccine capable of saving dogkind from certain annihilation. Biogun's release date is currently listed as to be announced. You know it, you love it, you've been waiting for it to come out for like 100 years, and you probably expected it to be number 1 on my list. My number 2 game, Hollow Knight Silksong, is the long-awaited, highly anticipated sequel to indie developer Team Cherry's absolute masterpiece of a game, and arguably the greatest Metroidvania ever created. Play as Hornet, one of the main antagonists of the original Hollow Knight, and explore the brand new kingdom of Farlu, while meeting lots of new bugs with cute voices. The developers have guaranteed an enormous map jam-packed with content and an entirely new combat mechanics system that features different tools and weapons that must be maintained and repaired, along with a large cast of NPCs inhabiting a kingdom that is much more alive than Hollow Knight, as well as challenging bosses and more than 150 enemies with their own unique attack patterns. Team Cherry has been hard at work on this project for over 5 years and seems determined to make the sequel better than the original. With the massive size and level of dedication of the Hollow Knight fan community and the amount of time and care put into production, I don't see any way that Silksong could possibly be a flop. Silksong was originally scheduled for release in early 2023, but was delayed and is currently listed as to be announced. While the developers have been mostly quiet regarding a release date, it is very likely to be announced in the coming months ahead. While I know I'm probably going to get hate from the Hollow Knight fan community for it, there is one game that I am more excited for. But before I share it with you, I just wanted to add a quick reminder to like and subscribe to my channel if you liked this video for reviews, strategy, and updates on an upcoming game. I will be providing updates and reviews of every game on this list as they are released, along with anything else I can get my hands on in the meantime. And I just started this channel recently, so your support is crucial to ensure its growth as I continue to build a large collection of content for you to enjoy. So without any further ado, my number one pick on today's list is Sworn from developer Mongoose Rodeo. An incredibly ambitious project said to be heavily inspired by Hollow Knight, Bloodborne, and Devil May Cry. Sworn is the result of probably the most successful Kickstarter campaign ever started by an indie studio, raising $1.25 million and surpassing every single one of its stretch goals. The developers have promised us a dark and mysterious, action-packed platformer with Souls-like mechanics, spandex-tight controls, their words, not mine, over 50 challenging boss fights, over 120 regular enemies with different attacks, a large and immersive 2D world rich with lore, voice acting, hand-drawn cutscene animations, more than a dozen side quests that enhance and deepen the storyline and lore. Sworn seems destined to become one of the top games of its genre. You start the game by waking up in an unmarked grave in the dark and oppressive world of Firendal, seemingly void of purpose and with no recollection of who you are. You must retrace your steps to regain your lost memories and unveil your own dark story while unraveling the mysteries of the dark and dangerous world you inhabit. Wield a scythe and double pistols, and master the art of Corvian magic as you traverse a dangerous, non-linear world inhabited by vicious enemies and monsters. Collect runes to modify and enhance your character. Unlock a multitude of movement-based abilities to help you overcome difficult platforming challenges. Sworn has literally everything that you've come to expect from the metroidvania genre and more, and should be loaded with enough content to keep players engaged long after its initial release. Sworn's release date is currently set as to be announced, and I'm personally crossing my fingers for a 2024 release date. There is a demo available that is supposedly not part of the actual game and can only be obtained if you funded the Kickstarter. I'm just putting it out there. If there's anyone out there that can help me obtain a copy of it, please reach out to me in the comments. I would absolutely love to have the opportunity to play and review it for my channel. So there you have it. With all these excellent games in production, it looks like 2024 is shaping up to be a big year for Metroidvanias and indie games in general. So now that I've shared my top picks, I want to know what you guys think. How does my top 12 measure up to yours? Are there any games that you think I missed? Drop a comment and let me know, and don't forget to like and subscribe and stay tuned for news and reviews for every game on this list. Until next time, this is Geesey, checking out.